What if nothing in your life is accidental? Not your family, not your struggles, not your abilities, not even the timing of the moments that hurt the most. What if you chose this life before you were born? I know that's a big statement, and if you've been through pain, it might even sound offensive. I'm not saying it to minimize what you've lived through. I'm asking you to consider it carefully, because if this life wasn't random, if your consciousness existed before your body, then your circumstances may not be mistakes. They may be part of something you stepped into, deliberately, not to suffer pointlessly, but to learn something specific, to experience something that only limitation makes possible. And if that's true, even in part, then the way you see your past changes. The way you see yourself changes. So don't believe it, just examine it with me. Because this one question, did you choose this life, has the power to reframe everything. This is where most people pull back from the idea. Because if this life wasn't random, then difficulty wasn't random either. And that's not easy to accept. No one wants to believe they would ever choose pain, or loss, or uncertainty, especially when those experiences felt overwhelming at the time. But look at your life honestly for a moment. The moments that shaped you the most were rarely the easiest ones. They were the ones that forced you to adapt, to think differently, to become stronger than you were before. Growth doesn't happen when everything goes your way. It happens when something disrupts you, when something forces you to see differently, when something pushes you beyond who you were. Not because you deserve suffering, but because pressure creates depth. Think about it. You don't discover your strength when everything is comfortable. You discover it when something challenges you. You don't discover who you really are when life is predictable. You discover it when something unexpected happens and you're forced to respond. And over time, those moments begin to shape you, not randomly, but precisely. Certain challenges appear more than once. Certain themes repeat until you understand something you didn't see before. It can feel frustrating when you're inside it, but when you step back and look at your life as a whole, you begin to see something else, not chaos, pattern, not punishment, development. And if consciousness stepped into this experience deliberately, then difficulty isn't evidence that something went wrong. It may be evidence that something is working, because challenge forces awareness, and awareness is where growth begins. If you chose this life, the obvious question is this: why don't you remember choosing it? Because remembering would change everything. Think about it honestly for a moment. If you woke up tomorrow with full certainty that you are not just this body, that this life is temporary, that you existed before it and will exist after it, would fear have the same hold over you? Would rejection affect you the same way? Would uncertainty feel as heavy? Probably not. And that changes the experience completely. Because this experience depends on immersion. It depends on you believing this is real, permanent, and final. That's what makes your choices meaningful. That's what makes courage real. That's what makes growth possible. Because if you knew, without question, that this was only temporary, you wouldn't fully engage with it. You would observe it, but you wouldn't feel it. And growth doesn't come from observation. It comes from participation. It comes from facing uncertainty without knowing the outcome. It comes from navigating difficulty without remembering the larger perspective behind it. That's what makes the experience transformative. And yet, even without full memory, something still gets through. Have you ever had a moment where something felt familiar, but you couldn't explain why? Meeting someone for the first time, yet it feels like you already know them. Being pulled strongly in a direction without logical reason, or going through repeated patterns in your life until something in you finally changes. Those moments don't feel random. They feel like signals, like reminders that there is more beneath the surface. Not full memory, but fragments of awareness. Because maybe the part of you that chose this never fully disappeared. Maybe it's still there, quietly observing, guiding through intuition, responding through instinct. And when you look back on your life as a whole, the patterns, the turning points, the moments that forced you to become more than you were before, it starts to look less like chaos and more like structure. Forgetting doesn't mean there was no choice. It may be what allows the choice to have meaning. Because the experience only works if you believe it's real while you're inside it. At this point, it's important to stay grounded because there's a difference between exploring a possibility and blindly believing something without questioning it. There are real psychological explanations for many of the things we've talked about. Your brain is designed to find patterns. It's designed to create meaning. It's designed to protect you from uncertainty. And sometimes it fills in gaps to help you make sense of your experience. That's not a flaw. That's survival. Your brain is constantly interpreting reality through limited information. It filters, it simplifies, it constructs the version of reality you experience every day. But here's something most people never stop to consider. You have never experienced reality directly. You have only ever experienced your brain's interpretation of it. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you believe is happening is processed, filtered, and presented to you, which means your experience of reality is already a kind of interface, not the source, the interface. And this is not speculation. This is neuroscience. Your brain receives signals, interprets them, and builds the world you perceive. But it doesn't create the signals themselves. It receives them, and that raises a deeper question. If your brain is the interface, then what is the experiencer behind the interface? What is the part of you that is aware? Not your thoughts, because you can observe your thoughts. Not your emotions, because you can observe your emotions. Not even your body, because you can observe your body. There is something behind all of it, something that has been present your entire life. The same awareness that was there when you were 5 years old, the same awareness that is here now. Even though everything else has changed, your body has changed, your personality has evolved, your beliefs have shifted, but the observer, the awareness itself, has remained constant. And that awareness does not feel like something that was created. It feels like something that has always been there. This isn't about conspiracy. This isn't about rejecting science. This is about recognizing something you can verify directly. You are not just the character in the experience. You are the one experiencing the character. And once you see that clearly, you stop feeling completely defined by circumstances because you realize something deeper is present, something unchanged, something aware. And that changes how you move through everything, not with fear, but with clarity. At the end of all this, the most important thing isn't whether you prove this idea, it's what it changes in you. Because if your life isn't random, then your experiences aren't meaningless. Even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones, they may be shaping something in you that comfort never could. And when you see your life through that lens, something shifts quietly. You stop seeing yourself as someone being pushed around by circumstances, and you start seeing yourself as someone moving through an experience, learning from it, responding to it, growing inside it, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you begin asking, what is this showing me? That shift alone brings clarity. It brings strength. It brings peace. Not because everything becomes easy, but because everything becomes meaningful. You realize you are not just the character in this life. You are the awareness living through it, and that awareness has been with you through everything. It's here now, reading these words, hearing this voice, observing this moment, unchanged. And maybe that's the part of you that was never lost, just temporarily immersed. So whatever your life looks like right now, trust that your experience has value. Trust that your growth is real, and trust that you are not here by accident. You are here, and that alone means something.